What happened?
The journey began on July the 10th of 2007 when I had a routine surgical procedure, and obviously they put you to sleep and during that procedure, and I woke up and the procedure went fine, and at that time I saw my wife, and she told me that during the procedure they'd found a couple of lymph nodes that were swollen irregularly, and that they'd done a preliminary test on them, that they thought everything was going to be fine. And I went home that day. The next morning I was called from the hematology department at the hospital, and it said that in fact those were not benign, that they were malignant, and that we needed to do some further searching. And unfortunately at that point in time, the test that they had done on the lymph node indicated a fairly aggressive form of lymphoma, which was mighty scary, I thought. And so we kind of sprung into action, and fortunately one of the leading doctors, researchers in the field of what I have is right here in Birmingham, which is so many times the case from the stories I'm hearing up here. And his name is Dr. Ferrero, and I've really enjoyed meeting him and being with him over the years. And what I have is called a nodal marginal zone B-cell lymphoma. And it's a very slow-growing, and they call it indolent, which means it kind of doesn't grow at all. So if I've had it probably for 20 years and not known it. And usually the course of treatment is that they don't treat it at all. They just kind of watch it and see how things go, and if they ever get to a point in time where it ever starts growing or gets aggressive, then they usually would treat that with traditional chemotherapy drugs that you've seen 10, 15 years in the past. So what I've been able to do is be accepted into a clinical trial which combines the Rituxan that I was on before with the SGN40 and try to attack it from two different angles. One of the things that you have to understand about my particular form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is it's kind of a good, there's good things about it, bad things about it. The good thing about it is the prognosis is very good. You 9 times out of 10 have a normal, healthy life, and I've been told that people die with this lymphoma, not from it. They usually have some other kind of disease as they get older that causes death, and this is usually not it. The bad side of having what I have is there's, quote, no cure for it. And breast cancer and some of the other aggressive cancers, they're able to use traditional chemo methods and actually have a cure for that disease. But what I have, they haven't been able to actually say there's a, quote, cure for it yet. And the SGN40 trial I am in now is just another promise in the right direction. They may be able to one day during my lifetime cure what I have. I think everybody at some point in time needs to be told they have a life-threatening illness. I think it puts a lot of things into perspective. I know it's made me a very more compassionate person. It's made me a better father, a better husband, and I think that knowing that every day is a gift gives you more reason to make big problems turn into little ones really quick. I mean, things I would really worry about and really be concerned about before the day I went into that surgery are very small things now. I've learned to experience the bumps in the roads rather than things being the end of the road, so to speak. And so far, everything's been fine. And I think that I was bad about worrying about things that I couldn't control. And that's another thing that's a very good side effect to, having lymphoma, is that, there's some things I can control. And when I do, I'm as proactive as I can be to make sure situations get resolved in the manner that they need to get resolved. But there are some things I just cannot control. And, I try not to waste a whole lot of time worrying about those. I don't know that there's a whole lot I can do sitting in a chair with infusion therapy this morning about the bailout or the stimulus package or, you know, what's going to happen at AIG. But I do know that I got a child with a birthday on Thursday, and that he's 6 years old, and he needs to be treated like a little man that day, and that's going to be his day. And those are things that I can make happen nicely and make sure they happen right. And so that's the good points of what's going on. So, you know, I feel really good about the prognosis. I feel better than I've ever felt, actually. I lost a lot of weight from the surgical procedure that they did to begin with, and you know, physically I feel great. I got a great staff at the office, and you know, things are going fine. And you know, like I said, little things that would normally be a disaster have turned out to be something that's kind of amusing. And it reminds me of it's kind of like the bingo argument. You know, whether we have bingo or not seems to be such a small worry to me right now compared to what it might be, you know, 2 years ago, or things of that nature. But I'm lucky to have a real good staff and guys that are really able to take up the ball when I'm down in Birmingham. I'm supposed to be here once every Monday for the month of April, and then I should be wrapped up, and hopefully it works, and hopefully we'll have a happy ending to it.